This is a story about Joseph.
Hi.
Not yet.
Oh,
Long ago, in a faraway land, lived a man named Jacob.
I thought this was about me.
It is. Just wait. Jacob had 12 sons, one by the name of Joseph,
That me.
who, by the way, was his favorite,
I'm the favorite.
which made his other brothers jealous, especially when Jacob gave Joseph a special coat.
Ooh, a coat of many colors.
Isn't that special?
On top of that, Joseph was a dreamer. He had two dreams about being better than his brothers, which, as you can imagine, didn't go over well with them.
Like I'll ever about to him.
One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check up on his brothers, who were out watching the sheep.
Why do we get stuck with the sheep? Because he's the favorite. Oh yeah, I forgot.
When they saw him, the brothers decided to kill Joseph, so they threw him into a well.
Let me out, let me out, let me out.
Wait, we can make some money out of this. How? We could sell him to the traders as a slave. Good idea.
And so they did. They brought back the coat torn and covered with animal blood and gave it to their father. Jacob believed his son to be dead and mourned for him.
My son!
Now Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an officer to Pharaoh.
Captain of the bodyguard, to be exact. A very important position.
Potiphar saw that the Lord was with Joseph, and whatever he did prospered. So he put him in charge of all his household. Now Potiphar's wife took a fancy to Joseph,
Well, hello, you.
but when he rejected her advances, she falsely accused Joseph of wrongdoing and had Potiphar send Joseph to Pharaoh's prison.
But I'm innocent.
That's what they all say.
Joseph was in Pharaoh's dungeon, but the Lord was with Joseph. The chief jailer put him in charge because whatever Joseph did was well done. While in prison, Joseph met Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker. They each had a dream, which Joseph told them what they meant.
I have some good news and some bad news. Remember me when you get out.
I will.
He didn't, but several years later, Pharaoh had a dream, and the cupbearer remembered Joseph.
Oh, yeah. I know a guy who can tell you the meaning of your dream.
So Joseph was brought out of prison to tell Pharaoh the meaning of his dreams.
I have some good news and some bad news.
Joseph explained that Pharaoh's dreams meant that there would be 7 years of plenty,
Yay!
Followed by 7 years of famine.
Boo!
Pharaoh put Joseph in charge of preparing for the famine, and when it did come, there was food in Egypt. Joseph's family in Israel heard about the food in Egypt. They were very hungry. So Jacob sent his sons to Egypt for food.
My brothers came to me in Egypt and begged me for food. They didn't know it was me, so I told them, I am Joseph.
Which really shook them up.
Ah!
The brothers figured they'd be punished for all that they had done, but Joseph told them, Even though you meant to harm me, God meant it for good.
What I've learned over these many years is that God is always with me. Even when things were the worst, the absolute worst, God was there with me.
So Joseph sent for his father and all of his household, and brought them into the land of Egypt, where he and his family lived out their days in peace. The end.
Yay! Let's give a round of applause to our actors. Have you ever had a terrible, rotten, awful, very bad day? I had one just this week. It all started when I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Have you ever done that? I always forget which is the right side and which is the wrong side. But this must have been the wrong side of the bed because it was the worst day. I went downstairs for breakfast, and my favorite cereal box was empty. And I had to have oatmeal instead. And not the good kind of oatmeal, like with cinnamon or raisins or apples or something. The really boring, old, normal kind. Then I went upstairs and I was brushing my teeth, but I couldn't find my toothbrush anywhere. So I grabbed my hairbrush instead, and let me tell you, it is not the same to brush your teeth with a hairbrush. I was so flustered then that I hopped into the shower with my clothes on. I just wasn't thinking at all. And I turned on the water, and my clothes and I were soaked. Have you ever been in wet clothes? It is the worst feeling in the world. As I got out of the shower, I was dripping wet, and I got a call from my mom, which I was really excited about because my mom doesn't normally call me first thing in the morning. But do you know what she said? She said, "Oops, I thought I was calling your brother instead. He's the one I wanted to talk to." And then she hung up. Can you believe it? How rude. After that, I was very sad, so I did what I sometimes do when I'm sad, is I got my phone out and I started scrolling through Facebook. Do you know what I saw on Facebook? I saw a picture of my friends all hanging out without me. They were all smiling like they were having so much fun, and that turned my mood from sour to rotten. I was so mad, you could have boiled a pot of water on me. I went to go pat my dog then, because at least he always wants to play with me and love me, but even he ran away from me to go chase a fly. At this point, I was done with the day. It was only 9 in the morning, but I could see it was shaping up to be a terrible, rotten, awful, just very bad day. And I thought maybe I should just go to sleep and start over. So I crawled back into bed, and I leaned over to turn off the light on my nightstand next to my bed. And that's when I noticed my Bible. And I decided to pick it up and read it for a little bit. And I read the story of Joseph, the story that we just heard. And that story, the story of Joseph, reminded me a lot of my morning. Things did not go well for Joseph. His brothers didn't like him. They pushed him around and they sold him to slavery just to get rid of him. And then he went to jail for something he didn't do. And he was separated from the people that he loved for a very long time. But do you know who was with Joseph the whole time? God. Even during the worst times of his life, God was with Joseph. And reading that story made me wonder, was God with me too that morning? What do you think? Do you think God was with me even when I was having a terrible, rotten, awful, just very bad morning? Yeah? Yeah, I think God was with me too. So I took a deep breath, I said a little prayer, and I got out of bed. I faced the rest of the day a little bit braver, knowing that God was with me. It still wasn't the best day. There were some bad things that still happened, but somehow knowing that God was with me made me face that day feeling a whole lot better. And so we remember today that even when all things go bad, when everything is bad and the worst, God is still with us. So that is why it is written on your shirt, even when everything goes wrong, God is still with us. And that's why we tie-dyed those shirts, so we could remember the story of Joseph, that even in the worst times that Joseph went to, and he was clothed in all those fabulous colors, God was still with him, and God is still with us even when we have the worst day too. So Pastor Drew's going to lead us in a song now.
All right, I'm going to give you guys a song to sing.